everybody, and welcome to my channel. To start off 2026, I wanted to share the 6 books that I'm planning to read first and why these stories are at the top of my list. This stack has a mix of romance, fantasy, emotional reads, and then some very intense worlds. So let's just dive into it. Okay, so first up is A Touch of Ruin. This is the second book in a Hades and Persephone retelling by Scarlett St. Clair. So this story is just Hades and Persephone navigating their relationship in their world, and it just kind of has them dealing with the consequences of their power, and Persephone engaging more in her godlike powers. So her just kind of learning how to use her powers just because she's been deprived of them her entire life because nobody worships her except for really Hades and those in the underworld. So she didn't really have access to her power until towards the end of the last book. So it's just her navigating that, and then just kind of some of them navigating the reputation of their relationship, etc. So I'm super excited to dive into this one. Okay, and then the next book that we have, which I actually started last night, I've only read the first chapter, but this is When We Collided by Emery Lord, and this is a story that focuses on just 2 teenagers and their journeys of grief, healing, falling in love, and it takes place over a summer in a small coastal town in California. So this one I think just is a really big character building story, and I'm super excited to get into it. I don't know a ton about this story, so I'm mostly going into this one blind, but so far the character building, even in just the first chapter alone, has been super interesting, and I usually struggle to start books, so I'm hoping to maybe read a couple more chapters today and get my eye dragged into this book so that I won't want to put it down. So super excited to read in this one and learn about the characters and their journey of growth, healing, and just how they deal with everything that they're dealing with in the story. Okay, next I'm going to be trying to read Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi, and this, I believe the main character Julia, she has a power that when she touches people they die. So it's a dystopian fantasy story. So I haven't really read anything dystopian in a long time. This book came out I think in 2016, so obviously at this point it's been out for 10 years, and in 2016 dystopian novels were all the hype. So I'm kind of honestly surprised that I haven't picked this one up before, but I'm super excited to kind of see how the world is set and what powers means for people, especially a power such as hers where her touch is lethal. So yeah, I'm super excited to get into this and learn a little bit more about Juliet. And I don't remember the love interest's name, but I know that Juliet is our main character, so I'm super excited to get to learn a little bit about her. So the next book that I'm going to be reading is The Thorns Remain by J.J.A. Harwood, and this is a book that, to be honest, I'm mostly going into blind. I don't hear about this book. Honestly, I don't know if anybody that I know has ever read it, and yeah, I picked it up kind of because it has to deal with a fae world that's sort of hard to navigate, and I've read ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, so I'm very versed in fae worlds, especially those involving mortals. So this I'm super excited to get into and just learn about what the complex characters are, their consequences, and maybe learning about this specific world, just because most fae worlds are usually fairly complex and then they're all unique. So I'm super excited to learn what the unique features of this world are. Okay, and then next I'm excited to get to The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the 3rd and final book in the Folk of the Air trilogy. I've really enjoyed reading Cardan and Jude's story. So this is a mostly fantasy story that kind of has a kick of romance, but this is the 3rd book. I've been slowly making my way through the trilogy because I have really liked the trilogy, and I'm super excited to see what happens with Cardan and Jude and how their relationship grows and how they handle being king and queen, just because the last story The Wicked King kind of left us with a little bit of a cliffhanger and a little bit of uncertainty. So I'm super excited to see how the consequences of those actions that we were left with in the 2nd book get resolved, and how everything plays out in this 3rd and final book in the Folk of the Air series. And then finally, I'm going to pick up How the King of Elfame Learned to Hate Stories. So this is technically the 3rd and a half book to the Folk of the Air series. So this is a novella that follows Cardan and It focuses mostly on his past. Cardan is a very like complex character, and because the story is told from Jude's point of view, we don't know a ton about him, especially like in The Wicked King and like The Cruel Prince. Like we only kind of got like bits and pieces, so I'm super excited to learn a little bit more about his past, fill in some gaps of like why is he the way that he is. And honestly, like this one should be a fairly short read, and because I've loved being in this world so much, I am super excited to get to this one. Okay, so these are the 6 books that I am starting my 2026 with. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Please feel free to leave any comments about book recommendations, or if you guys have read any of these and if why you recommend them, why you love them. Maybe if they weren't for you, let me know, because I mean I relate to it too. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and these are the 6 books that I'm starting my 2026 with.